With all our hearts, we pray and ask. God bless Anambra. God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine. With our sweat and blood, every breath of our lives, with trust in God, we will lift our homeland high. We believe in togetherness, we'll build a land of progress. Lift the spirit of Anambra, lift the spirit of Anambra, lift the spirit of Anambra, states we love.
Anambra State, under Governor Willie Obiano, has carved its name boldly on Nigeria's agricultural map as one of the fastest growing agro-economies in Nigeria. The reasons for this are found easily in the positive and proactive policies of the Willie Obiano-led administration, which has given rise to the largely productive public and private sector investments in agriculture. This is evidenced in the over 200% increase in rice, cassava, maize and vegetable production in Anambra State between 2014 and 2020, and the impressive advancements in livestock and animal husbandry. The agricultural business advancements in Anambra State under Governor Obiano are revolutionary, to say the least. The vision to drive the economy of the state through mechanized agriculture underscores the leverage and impetus provided by the governor, and properly took root from the governor's economic blueprint, which had agriculture as its priority.
His Excellency Willie Obiano, in the first instance when he came in, took agriculture as his major pillar, and within the agriculture he took special interest in developing commodities to become major agro-economies within the big agriculture family.
Beyond this vision, however, was a burning desire to grow as many aspects of the agricultural sector as possible, with the aim to establish distinct and standing economies in the various commodity value chains.
One of those such particular interests is the fisheries and aquaculture, and as it were, the fisheries and aquaculture turned out to be a major rod in the agriculture pillar. He justified the need to institutionalize the development of fisheries and aquaculture in Anambra State, having seen what we've done in terms of scoping and in terms of potentials and things on ground.
This desire necessitated the creation of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Business Development Agency, FATBA, in Anambra State, which was passed into law on the 18th of December 2018 as a key milestone to institutionalize the development of the fisheries and aquaculture economy.
And the mandate of FABDA, in summary, is reposition the fisheries and aquaculture sector in Anambra State for effective and efficient governance, regulation, productivity, and growth. We started with making a vision and mission statement so that we can have a direction. So we defined our vision as wanting to be the most visible fish production state in West Africa by being the largest in fingerlings production, in fish feed production, and also in processed fish products. So now, that in view and in focus, we were able to begin to encourage investors.
The coastal communities of Anambra State have always been known as fishing communities. Fishing continues to be an integral part of their culture as well as a key economic activity. Though practiced mostly at the subsistence level, fishing and fish production has proven to be a major source of livelihood to the aborigines. However, in recent times, and with the advancement in technology and modern agricultural methods, fish production has evolved, and sourcing of fish is no longer limited to the coastal communities.
Because we are matching our fish production activities with business principles, we have to get back and guide the lines of production so that they will match the customers' categories. This is where we'll gather all this data and do informed analysis. And we'll be able to know the population of the economy or the population of the people that take half kg size of fish, the population of people that prefer 2 kg size of fish, the ones that prefer 5 kg size of fish. All this data guides us in informing or relating in the value chain and disseminating information and sharing information and knowledge with respect to investors to guide them on where looks more advantageous or more beneficial or where the needs are.
The Anambra have taken up fish production in their various communities and in different methods, ranging from mobile fish ponds using plastic tanks, tarpaulin tanks, fiber tanks, concrete fish ponds to earthen ponds, as the case may be, and according to their terrains, relying on their acumen to expand and optimize the business inherent in the value chain as much as they could.
And this farm is integrated. We're talking about fish farming, animal husbandry. The ideal at the end of the day is to make food available all year round. And now we've integrated it with a resort base for people who like to come and see. So we have guest houses, a very good excursion base for children to come and see how fishes are produced. It's about 50 ponds here. We have 32 species of fishes here. Any fish you want from the River Niger is here. Between 25 and 30 kg. That's for the Heterobrancus. Then if we have Heteroitis, we have Clarias. It's an experiment in progress.
This situation was actively stimulated by the enabling environment created by the Obiano administration and the pro-agribusiness policies of the state government through its empowerment schemes and business financing projects, which has aided fish production in many communities of Anambra State.
I have a farm in Abuja, but I decided to think home. Every Monday, if you get to Head Bridge, you will see a lot of vehicles coming into Anambra. I think we are the highest consumer of catfish, southerners, southeasterners. And when I realized this, and I said, okay, I think it is better I establish here. Let's see how we can challenge and stop these people from bringing in here. And we'll be calling on a lot of investors to do same. Because if you manage fish farming very well, you do your calculation very well, it is very, very lucrative. We have a very large earthen ponds. Even here we have concrete ponds too. Exactly a replica of what we will see in the south, if not better. Is what we are doing here now.
However, despite these public and private sector-driven efforts at enhancing fish production, the yawning gap in reaching self-sufficiency in fish production as a state still exists.
As a matter of fact, you are aware that Anambra is a major dump for fish produced from outside the state. That every Monday, every Sunday, truckloads of fish from north, from the west converge, and we are losing this revenue to other states. So we want to block that. That money goes outside Anambra. There is already a technology on ground for smoking the fish through scientific means. So it's a whole concept, complete in itself.
The Ose Fish Market in Onitsha is popular for its spectacle and for the thousands of people that come in daily from far and near. Anambra imports about 325 tons of dry fish and 300 tons of fresh fish weekly. The demand for big-sized fresh fish had always created a gap and caused the major marketers to import from outside the state.
Mostly we go to the west to bring them. Approximately 1,305 kilo per bus. Sometimes we sell 2, which is 1,305 kg in 2. But on weekends, like on Fridays, that is ×3. At times ×4, depending on our drag nets. In Anambra, This particular species is very lucrative. The hybrid is moving more. So I pray that the government will seriously look into production of catfish heavily in Anambra. The size we normally bring from the west. It's mostly in 4 kilos and above. 5 kilos, 6 kilos maximum per fish.
This, therefore, necessitated the need to reposition the fisheries and aquaculture value chain structure for effective and efficient governance, regulation, productivity, and growth.
So for the fresh fish market, for the dry fish market, if you translate 2 billion by 4, it gives you 8 billion, and you add the other one. So we're looking at 10 billion per month. For us to develop our economy to make this inclusive and grow the GDP internally, then that means we're going to be adding a lot to our economy, and that's what His Excellency is looking at. His Excellency is looking to strengthen our economy so that we have all the things here. It's going to generate a lot of jobs and money as well. It's going to, engage a lot of people.
The agency developed a master strategy to reorganize, create and reposition the fisheries and aquaculture economy in Anambra State. It started off by developing a fully articulated and comprehensive database for the efficient management and regulation of all fisheries and aquaculture businesses in the state. Then, it created projects to efficiently increase fish production, create jobs, and provide more business opportunities to inspire wealth creation.
Today, we have a database, robust database of the business activities in the fisheries and aquaculture in Anambra State. And we were able to segment the fisheries and aquaculture value chain in the state into 16 distinct segments. And these segments, each of them represent a business unit within which you can, scope and evaluate and project the volume of revenue and volume of productivity or services that can be generated within such a business unit. So it provides us the framework and structure to govern and regulate the economy of fisheries and aquaculture. Before now, there was no such structure.
FABDA has also developed a policy framework to guide operations in the distinct segments of the fisheries and aquaculture value chain. It moved to encourage existing projects in the sector and also revive abandoned ones, and then launched new entrepreneurship settlements across the state and sought to apply different methods of fish culture in Anambra State.
What we are trying to do is set up these commercial ones. By the end of the year, when the flooding season ends, we will begin to address the potentials on the wild, that's the ponds and the rivulets across here, like Obaru, like Anambra West, above Emily, all these areas that have natural bodies of water.
FABDA further consolidated the production of catfish and is already systematically integrating tilapia and other commercially viable fish species in the fish production business in the state.
We had to encourage investors and actors to streamline the operation, specialize, and then they can grow. So in that line as well, we have been able to categorize scales of operation. So again, that's another level of fine-tuning the structure in order to be more effective in managing, governing, regulating, and driving our targets.
To fully operationalize the policy framework, FABDA had already delineated various segments in the value chain to aid specialization, effectiveness, and increased output. Some of the segments include broodstock production and development, fingerlings production, table fish production, fish feed production and trading, equipment fabrication, fish processing, fish and fish products packaging, fisheries logistics, veterinary and fish health, among others.
The conventional fish farmers have also been streamlined through our segmentation of the fisheries value chain in Anambra State to have fingerlings producers, broodstock developers, and table fish producers. So these three business operations in the fisheries and aquaculture value chain formed what is popularly known even across the nation as fish farming. But today, because we want to fine-tune operations to be able to make the best out of it, we had to encourage investors and actors to streamline the operation, specialize, and then they can grow.
As a result of this, and in furtherance of its programs, FABDA has successfully trained and empowered over 3,000 fish producers in Anambra State on specialized segments of fish production and methods for increased productivity in fish production.
A lot of encouragement and a lot of advices has been coming from the government side, advising some of the novice or even those that have been in the system on how to handle some of the things, because some people thought that fishery is just something you would drop fish in the water and maybe it will just give you yield. It's not just like that. Anybody can do fish farming with any little amount if you can heed to advice.
To actualize its major objective of growing the fisheries and aquaculture economy into a formidable and key revenue-generating industry in Anambra State, FABDA, with the active directive of His Excellency, the Executive Governor, commenced its business hubs and franchise model fish villages in the 3 senatorial zones of the state as a pilot to guide further investment interest.
The beauty of what we are doing is that it's supposed to be replicated in all the 21 local government areas. That's the beauty of it. So we will be training our indigents on proper scientific fish production techniques, where you know what the input, you know what you expect in the long run.
The pilot project sited at Adazin Nuku, at Aguleri and Okija will strategically provide facilities for production, training and capacity building in the entire fish production value chain in the state. It will also create opportunities mostly for active production of table fish from the locations, fingerlings from various other locations, mostly private, fish feed from various other locations, and processing of the produced table fish in various other locations, that is factories, for local consumption and export.
We're doing 300 tons in each of them, and for these 300 tons, it's going to do 75 tons per month. So when you do 75 and you multiply it by 3, you see you have a 225,000 kg. These fish production villages create facility for massive production, industrial scale production of table fish, creates off-take line for the fingerlings production. So we are looking at the fish production villages as well will provide steady supply to our fish processing factories, first to the local market and also, ultimately to the export market. Now, in all this value addition, in all this production, people are working. We have staff working there. People are actively involved in producing the fish, feeding the fish, grading the fish, changing the water and all that. Now, in selling the fish, vehicles are involved, logistics are involved, they are being paid, they are making money from that. They move the fish from one place to the other. Now, the ones that are processing the fish, they also have their staff. And then after that, there is the packaging. Packaging is another business. And then transporting it again to the market is another business. So there are chains and, levels of businesses that are involved. So this is the nucleus of it. And then we're looking at, by God's grace, we will be able to extrapolate this to all the local government areas in the state.
FABDA has also recorded great investments in the fisheries and aquaculture industry to boost fish and fish feed production. Aided by Governor Obiano's Akuluau call, his administration's persistent effort at ensuring a peaceful and business-friendly environment, and the increased ranking of Anambra State among states with good indices in the ease of doing business, FABDA's articulate policies have successfully attracted investments in the fish and fish feed production value chain.
We decided to go into production of fish feed, and we found out that we don't have the fish feed of our own in Anambra, so we're like, let's go into it. Yes, business is there anyway to make the profit, but because we have passion for it, we are trying to fill the gap. But we have massive fish farmers in Anambra State, but we need government help in base of bringing all those materials that will enable us to produce in a cheaper rate to supply our farmers.
Apart from investments made by government, private organizations like Grand Series Limited, a subsidiary of USC PLC, has installed a 30% metric tons per annum fish feeds plant at Onitsha, an investment worth 1.2 billion naira only as at 2019.
There's always been a partnership between the Anambra state government and the Grand Series. That was quite instrumental. Anambra state has been quite a hospitable host, and they made it quite convenient for us to set up a business here in Anambra. We produce fish feed for the different sizes or stages of fishes, starting from the 2 mm. We have going up to the 9 mm, which is the phase for the adult fish. So we cater for the different phases of growth in the fish business. It's quite a viable business in terms of we see a lot of interest. People have interest in fish farming here in Anambra, and it's something that is still growing. I don't even think we've started yet. It still has a lot of potential in terms of where the business can get to in the state.
Hundreds of others operating at various scales of operation, ranging from micro, small, medium to large and industrial scales across the state, have seized opportunities presented by the Willie Obiano administration through the provision of a stable, safe and conducive business environment and the Akuluauno drive to develop businesses in the fisheries and aquaculture industry.
We specialize in marketing and sales of finished products such as catfish and various kinds of fish and imported fishes as well. Normally, the kind of fish production we find within the state here are usually smaller sizes and medium sizes. Those big sizes we go for. We don't actually get them here. I think people are being encouraged to go into fish farming, and it's been working gradually. And I believe with the recent awareness, both on health reasons and the profitability aspect of it, over time I believe we'll be able to produce what we eat within the state here.
FABDA has further enhanced this through effective policies and the precision technology-driven strategies to drive the investments in all the segments of fisheries and aquaculture industry, and through its value chain, created the platform for wealth creation, entrepreneurship, and employment.
We have made efforts to help our actors in the fisheries and aquaculture value chain, especially table fish producers, fingerlings producers, and processed fish, producers. We've been having series of meetings, regular engagements between table fish producers and fresh fish sellers. The fresh fish sellers explain to the table fish producers the specifications of fish that they require, the kinds of fish that they require, so that the table fish producers will focus on all those, so that they will have guaranteed uptake. Also, the smoked fish sellers, they have the different forms of fish, the cut ones, the folded ones, the sizes and all that. So they also have this interaction, so that we'll be able to supply the market with what it needs. So in this way, we are surmounting and containing the challenges that are facing us in achieving this lofty goal.
As work progresses in the 3 pilot fish production villages and FABDA's business development and franchise models expand in the 21 local government areas of the state, there is no doubt that Anambra State will sooner than later embrace the threshold of self-sufficiency in fish production and unlock the potentials in continuous exportation of fish and fish products.